G'day folks, welcome to a Friday afternoon. What's been going on? Picked up a few things. Autopsy, got the Honeywell control cabinet there for an alarm system. Stripping the Volkswagen engine down, that's toast. A few other things, just tidying up. Got some information on my new hydraulic motor that came off a Engel brand injection molding machine, one that I did quite a few hours work with when I was working for a local injection molding company. They finally scrapped the machine, so yeah, it's kind of sad to see that machine go. It's an old 1980s, even late 70s era 120 ton clamp force dual toggle style injection molding machine. They're a nice bit of kit. I'll post a link to a photograph of a slightly newer version. I haven't been able to find a photo of the old style one, but this is the main screw motor. This hydraulic motor drives the screw, which retracts and refills the barrel as it forces material down its flights, melts it through friction and the heat bands, and when you actually close the die up, ready for a new shot, the whole lot's thrust forward by two hydraulic cylinders, pushing all the liquid plastic into the mould. This motor does most of the work. The two rams slide the screw forward and push it in with the check ring, preventing any backflow, but this motor is responsible for refilling the barrel. It does a fair bit of work, but it only runs one direction, and it's got check valves in the system, so all that's going to be deleted, and I'm just going to use it as a forward reverse shredder motor, low speed, high torque. That'll put out 205 newton meters at I think a maximum of 400 RPM, but I want much lower RPM. So we'll see how well it runs with the tiny little pump that I've got. If not, I'll upgrade the pump on the engine. But I've still got to get the shaft and everything made up and start welding the bed plate now that the weather's not so fire prone. Because when it comes to grinding and welding outside in the middle of summer, trying to cut and grind and do all that out there, yeah, you start grass fires. I've done that a few times by accident with a 9-inch grinder. It's not fun. But anyway, little car's out here and wants some attention. I haven't given her any attention for quite some time, so yeah, need air in the tyres and a good clean out for starters, probably a wash. Yeah, definitely need a wash. But overall, for a mobile storage unit, she's doing pretty well. Bits of Daewoo in there. That feather I found under the sun visor when I first picked her up. It was bright pink, but the sun seems to have done a number on it. Yeah, there's junk in here which doesn't need to be in here. There's an extra spare for the Micra, which I don't need now. That can go. That's an extra for the Ford. Giant ram, that's staying. I have to play around with that one day. That's a big air ram. It puts out roughly 2,000 pounds, 1,000 kilograms of force at 100 psi. So it's fairly hefty. What else have we got? We've got a refrigerator that needs a home. That's the Matsushita Electric R12 based system. That still works quite well. Crunchy, the Pentium computer's still in here. Various other busted up dash panel bits and things. I'm going to throw a lot of this out. I'll keep these condenser fans, or evaporator fans, and the bug zapper, that and that, but all the old tyres and things, apart from that one, can go. There's Little Car's original tyres in there, which are still good, but again, I don't have much use for them, so might be candidates for a hydrostatic explosion. There's tarps in here, there's all sorts of things. So, yeah. RAV4's happy now, giving her plenty of attention. I also picked this up this morning. This is off the same injection molding machine. This is the automatic lube system. A central lubricating system that pumps it through a series of lines to go to all the tie bar bushings and slides and all that stuff. The toggle links, they all get it. Made in Berlin. It's German. The whole machine's German made. I know the oil in this is garbage because we used to recycle it. You take the drain bottle and just pour it back in again. It was atrocious. Yeah, it's going to need a really good clean up. Like, just strip it all down, clean it up. I'm interested to see how much pressure it puts out, whether it can maintain 50 psi through a turbocharger bearing. Because if that's the case, if I can maintain and throttle it at about 50 pounds through a turbo bearing, I've got my little oil supply. Just run it through a large cooler before it goes back to the tank. Still got granules of master batch and plastic all over it. But I'll give it a good wash down and degrease, dump all that rubbish oil out of it and refill it with some diesel engine oil. But yeah, that's an auto lube system. It's got a float switch to tell you when it's out. And it's got a 3-phase miniature pump. Yeah, multi-voltage, star delta. Yeah, I can work with that. Yeah, and the rest of this stuff's going to be sorted out and scrapped. Well, not all scrapped, but that's scrap. It's been run without a filter or anything, and it's completely demolished the motor. That doesn't work. I don't need that anymore. I've got squillions of these. I threw another 3 in the bin the other day at work. 600 watt, 24 volt DC motors. Again, they need to be fully restored, new bearings and everything. I just don't have time for it. It's one of the later ones. Is it 2011 serial number? And more stuff to part out, clean up. There's some 3-phase switchgear in there. Chemical and water resistant leads for sump pumps. Some old 4-pin 3-phase plugs to clean up. That's an old Pentium 133. These stop. Yeah, lots of goodies. So, better get into it. Looks like the weather's going to change. It's getting dark up there. Yeah. Well, it's slowly getting cleaned out. Jay the Aussie showed up again, which took care of the fridge situation. The fridge is gone. And they got wheel covers, a couple of little car wheel covers. Not sure what to do with them. Might give them away. The rest of it, well, it's mostly junk. I'll put one of those good tyres in here and the other one can go. I know one of them's flat, doesn't hold air, so I'll get rid of one of them. They're all little car originals, but no point keeping them. Yeah, there's a radiator in there. I think that's an old Camry radiator. Let's see if I've broken it by putting stuff on top. That's the problem, piling stuff in, things get broken. And then I'll push forward and sort through all that. Scrap that one, that's all rotted out, dry rotted. Or at least use it for some kind of running things over experiment, if you'd call it that. I know someone wanted the ignition lock off the Daewoo, so I better strip that down too. Yeah, there's a leaky SLA battery, that can go. Bits and pieces. I might keep the gauge off this preheater, nitrogen preheater, the rest of it's not much use. Fuel tank, I think it's got a crack in it somewhere, that can go. That's off the Yanmar tractor. I don't think it's cracked, I think it's just fully contaminated with junk and doesn't seal properly, it lets water in, so that's rubbish. That's rubbish. There's a fan and coil there which make a nice water cooler. Bits of air conditioning line and manifold. More air conditioning line, 1/4 inch. Looks like it's kinked there, so that's scrap. Yeah. Control cables. Oh, it's a Johnson Marine outboard control unit. Yeah, there's a lot of rubbish in here. Time to throw it out. Yeah, that's the flat one, that needs a new tube in it. Not worth it. Strip it down, get rid of it. yeah, clear out little car and then move on to better things. Ah, there we go, just starting to put stuff back in, more useful stuff and things that can be autopsied or used later. Got a 110 volt, was it a 3 kVA 110 volt step down transformer, or sorry 100 volt AC, not 110. Yeah, some fairly decent stuff. Rocker cover from an ED Falcon, or Ford Fairmont Falcon, straight 6, 4 litre. Gives you a bit of an idea of how big they are. The same as what's in my car, except mine doesn't have the half moons cast in. It's got rubber half moons that leak. So I grabbed this because I want to replace it. Although I'm talking to a service tech at work, he reckons his cousin has a spare Tickford XR6 head and PCM kit. So I might be tempted to buy that and upgrade it. I think it's 195 kilowatts or something. It's only a single overhead cam 6, but they're a decent size engine. I feel sorry for my European friends who just can't get their hands on something like this, because these engines are really good and the cars themselves are powerful. They're not bad. Even the Holden equivalent with the Buick 3.8 V6 is pretty perky. It gets going. But I like the straight 6s. Inline engines inherently have more torque due to the design. V engines just don't have as much torque. It's all in the design. But yeah, year 1994. So that's a spare for when I do the head on it, or if I upgrade to a Tickford, I'll get the red one with the Tickford logo on it. So either way, I'll hang on to it for now. If not, it'll go back in the scrap bin, or I'll use it to test out the shredder on cast alloy. The shredder I'm building will be able to handle stuff like that no problem. It makes wonderful crunching noises. Like old laptops and computer screens and things. Crunch, crunch, crunch. So yeah, more stuff to go in here and should be good. Apart from getting the antenna hung up on the clothesline, let's see how well that footage works. It's a test version 1.0 of car camera.